Today's cocktail is a modern take on a classic gin-based cocktail called the Clover Club. So Clover Club as a drink was pre-prohibition. It was named after the men's club of the same name in Philadelphia. And it's like a kind of raspberry flavored white lady. It's a beautiful drink. And it's not made that much these days, but I think with the opportunity to use this sort of Worthing Orange Blush gin in the Clover Club, we end up with a really decent modern take on this drink. So we're going to call it an Orange Clover Club, and this is how you make it. I'm actually using a few different techniques, including this. You're going to need a little hand blender because we're going to give it a whiz before we give it a shake. Anyway, first things first, instead of using my glass from my shaker, I'm actually going to use the tin so I've got more space to whiz the ingredients. But we're going to start by adding our Worthing Orange Blush gin, and I want 45 ml of that. So let's get 45 ml measured out. Let's get that into our shaker. Very nice. Okay, next thing is the juice of a lemon. So I'm actually saying that we need about 20 to 25 ml of lemon juice. So I've got a very large lemon down here. Let's see how much juice we can get out of each half of that. So there's one half. Let's get that in. Yeah, got some really good lemons off of our greengrocer today. So loads of juice out of that. That's at least 15 ml. So probably not going to need the whole of the second half, but sort of max it out at 25 ml if you can. So let's pop the other half in. Let's give that a squeeze as well. There we go. And using many years of assessing how much juice I've squeezed, I'm going to say that is 25 ml there. So two ingredients, we've got the lemon juice. We have obviously our Worthing gin in there. Now the next thing is syrup, and the recipe calls for raspberry syrup. However, you can use grenadine. The only thing I find with grenadine is that it doesn't taste of raspberries. And the whole point of the Clover Club is that this drink has that raspberry taste coming through it. So because raspberry syrup is kind of difficult to get hold of, this is an alternative way to go. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 fresh raspberries. So I'm just going to drop those in like that. Then I'm going to add some grenadine. And the idea is that the combination of the raspberries and the grenadine, which I'm going to blitz together in a second, will give us the kind of flavour profile that we're looking for. Obviously, if you have raspberry syrup, then use raspberry syrup. You can, of course, make your own raspberry syrup. If you want to get a big punnet of raspberries, boil them up with some sugar and some water and then strain everything off, you'll have your own raspberry syrup. But if you don't want to go down that route, this is an easier way to go. Finally, we need some egg white. So let me just pop that glass to the side. Going to give this egg a crack. Let's just open that up. And making sure carefully that there we go, that the egg white drops in, but I catch the yolk. There we are. Let's just pop that to the side. Very nice. Let me just give my hands a little wipe. So before we shake the ingredients here, it's really important to blitz this up, and for 2 reasons. One is I want to break down that raspberry as best as I can. The other is this really helps to emulsify the egg white and create a much smoother, frothy head on the final cocktail. So that's what I'm going to do. Just a couple of seconds, but I'm going to get this in and give it a whiz. There we go. And again. Okay, I'm good with that. Let me pop that to the side as well. Now I'm going to add my ice. So take my shaker. Let's get the ice in with the rest of the drink, and now give it a really good shake. Good. Now, because I'm using raspberries, really important here to double strain this. I don't want any of the raspberry pips making their way into the drink. So I'm passing it also through a fine strainer. You can call it a tea strainer if you want. We don't use it for tea on the bar here. We only use it for cocktails, but that's the whole idea of the job. And you can see how smooth this is looking. Let's tap that through as the egg white settles and comes to the surface of the drink. Really wonderful colour. This is not a sweet drink. This is definitely in the class of sours. There we go. Let's tap that through a little bit more. But because of the fruit, it tends to be a lot fruitier than a lot of traditional sour style drinks. Okay, that's good enough for now. Pop that in there, and that's in there. So we have our Clover Club, we have our orange Clover Club pretty much there. All I'm going to do now is garnish very simply by taking my remaining raspberry, and I want to just stand that over the edge. There we go, using my cocktail stick to balance it. And you can see that it's still starting to settle, so the drink separates, that egg white comes to the surface, the wonderful colour. I would suggest to you that if you are a fan of gin drinks, if you're particularly a fan of the Worthing Orange Blush Gin, that this is such a fantastic way to use it. Mix it, let us know how you get on, and enjoy.